Hello. Happy Thursday. Okay. I'm trying to give a few more people some time to get on here and just pull up my notes. Hello. Good evening. Happy Thursday. Trying to give a few more people some time to get on here before I start talking. What time is it? 8:06. It's 8:06 over here. Well, I'm going to just start talking, and whoever joins in will just join in. So tonight's topic is tired of being a strong one. This is part 4 of the Healing Room series, because I told you guys that I was going to be doing a series over the next couple of 8 weeks, and it's going to be certain topics that fit into healing. So one that people always struggle with, especially me, is being a strong one. So I'm talking to all the people who are tired of being a strong one, who tired of being the one that everybody else call when they got problems, or you always being the one that people come to just talk to. I'm talking to y'all tonight. So the first key point that I'll start with is what being the strong one really means. So being a strong one doesn't just mean that you're dependable. It means that you've been carrying a responsibility for too long. Sometimes you didn't choose this road. This might have been something that just kind of naturally happened to you. Maybe you have like a strong mom or a strong dad, or whoever your guardian was. Maybe they were strong, so it naturally kind of rolled off onto you. That's kind of how it happened with me. Or life could throw you in a situation to where you ain't have no choice but to be strong. So sometimes that's where your role of being a strong one comes from. It'll stem from childhood or passed down traits. So you become the person that everybody counts on to be okay, right? Even when you're everything but not. And after a while, you start to notice that nobody really asks you how you doing. I mean, you might have people who, hopefully, you have a good support system, and then they will ask you how you're doing. But a lot of the times, a lot of people don't really ask the strong one how they're doing. They're so focused on getting their point across or whatever they're venting about that they don't really have time to check in on you. And that's because of how you show up. So I show up strong. I guess people don't think that I got feelings. A lot of people wouldn't know that I go through things unless I verbalize it. Like if I didn't say it, people wouldn't even know nothing. And sometimes I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, because some people are just not that observant. Like they just I guess they just don't know. And I'm just not one of those people who always tend to kind of play victim or, you know, just want everybody in my business. So I'm the strong one in my life. So I said all that to say is sometimes it's a role you inherit. It's not one you choose. I didn't choose being a strong one. It chose me. Okay? People see you as dependable, wise, and unshakable. When you the strong friend, everybody coming to you for advice. They just look up to you in a way because a lot of people just don't carry certain traits of being strong. So a lot of people, I'm going to speak for me. I don't really train other people to think that I'm fine. I just feel like certain people just look at me and they'll just think that I'm fine. Even if I'm not fine and I'm struggling, you know. So the cost of that means like your needs will tend to go unnoticed because you are the strong one. So why is it exhausting? Being the strong one is exhausting because you're not living your life. Sometimes you're carrying other people's burdens and your burdens too. It's like walking around with a backpack full of bricks. And every time you try to take one out, somebody hands one to you. So that's why it becomes exhausting. You are taking on other people's roles and then you trying to take on the roles of your life. So when it comes to being a strong one, you have to learn how to choose yourself. Choose yourself first and focus on you and stop trying to pick up other people's burdens just because you can. Yeah, we are called to share people's burdens, but you have to be full before you can pour from your cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. So, and let me see. Okay, yeah. Sometimes you might think you're fine until one day you just become overwhelmed, you irritable, you drained, and you don't know why. A lot of the times it's because you got too much on your back. You carrying too much. So you have to learn how to put stuff down. And when it comes to you have to be selfish a little bit. Like when you're the strong one, you have to be selfish. You have to take care of yourself first before running to other people's rescue. If you don't want to answer the phone, you don't want to hear certain things, do not answer the phone. Just because they always come to you with advice, that might be a day you can't take on nothing else. And that is okay. When you are the strong one, you have to learn how to have boundaries and not always being the one that everybody runs to and everybody calls. Because at the end of the day, you are the one being depleted. You are the one who is struggling. And it's just like everybody just getting whatever they can from you and you over there, barely hanging on. So that's why it's exhausting. Like I said, you carrying double weight. Emotional labor is invisible to other people, but it's killing you. Like I said before, other people rarely think you need help. And then it leads to you being irritable, fatigued, and burned out. This is why a lot of people get burned out, because you are doing too much. You're doing too much for other people, including yourself. So, number 3. What are the silent struggles of being the strong one? Because when we are the strong one, we do have silent struggles. One of the first ones will be loneliness. I struggle with that a lot. I'm lonely a lot of the times. I don't open myself up. I don't care if we are the best of friends. It's just certain things that I just keep to myself. I had to learn how to kind of get out of that. Not letting people in on my, things that I got going on. I mean, you just kind of have to have discernment when it comes to that, because when you are the strong one, you can end up lonely. And especially, like I said before, if you don't like to let people in, then it's just like, how can people help you if you don't let people in? So in that case, just make sure you have the right support system when it comes to letting people in, because everybody doesn't need to be in on everything that you got going on, but you do need people to help you carry your own burdens. You could be surrounded by people and still feel completely unseen because nobody sees you beyond your strength. And when you are the strong one, a lot of people don't see you beyond that. They just see you being the strong one. You can handle everything. You can do this. You don't fall down. You don't have these problems. And then when you start opening up to people, they're like, oh, I never knew you was going through that. So it sucks because, like I said, they don't see you beyond your strength. So you can be around a group of people, have a group of people around you, and still feel unseen. Another struggle is guilt. Like I said, you might not want to ask for help. When it comes to being a strong one, if you independent, however you grew up, my mama basically raised me, and she just used to always teach me, you know, not to depend on other people. And I would say that in a sense as to where I need to make sure I got my stuff together. Yeah, I need to make sure I have my stuff together, and it's okay to ask for help, but just make sure that I got my stuff together. So I know a lot of people, when it comes to being a strong one, you don't ask for help. And I'm here to say, like, ask for help. Can't nobody help you if you don't tell them. And being independent to the point where you're not asking for help is kind of like a flaw. I had to learn that, and I feel like a lot of people struggle with that or have struggled with that. You think being strong or being independent is a flex, and I ain't gonna lie, it is a flex in a way, but you also have to know how to ask for help, because you can't be Superwoman all the time. So let me see. Okay, yeah. So the next one would be another struggle that you another thing that you struggle with would be emotional burnout. So I've been there, done that, where you're not feeling nothing at all, because it's almost like you running on autopilot. You like the little guinea pig on the wheel. You just keep going and going and going and going and going and going until, I don't know, I guess life hits you, and then you finally wake up and feel it. But 9 times out of 10, when you're the strong one and you have not, taking the steps to heal, kind of assess the situation, you're gonna keep running. You're gonna be running 100 miles per hour when you should be running 20. And in the long run, that can take a big toll on you. It's because, like, you are emotionally numb. You don't feel nothing, and you just exist on autopilot. Then you start over functioning. You start doing for other people what they could do for themselves, and that's another thing. If you know people are capable, stop trying to be the one to save them. That's not your job. That is Jesus' job. That's not your job. Stop trying to save everybody, because who is coming to save you? So, number 4, the lie we've been told about strength. Somewhere down the road, along the way, we were taught that real strength means never breaking down, never asking for help, and always having it together. That is what society has put out there, and I'm here to tell you that is a lie. Some of us wear that like a badge of honor, but it's really a heavy chain. And the truth is, that's not strength. You're just suppressing your emotions. That's all it is. True strength is knowing that you can say, like, I can't handle this, or I can't do this on my own, or I do need some help. That is what true strength is. And I think a lot of us hide ours. Like, we hide behind being strong. And that's what keeps so many of us stuck, because we're silently struggling. We're struggling because we're not verbalizing that we need help. We're not verbalizing that we can't do this. We're not saying what it is. We're just taking it on because we can. And just because you can does not mean you should, okay? Just because you can does not mean you're called to do that. And I'm going to talk to y'all about this another time, but there's a difference between being assigned to something and you choosing to do it because you feel like you're assigned. You have to have discernment. Like I said, I'm going to repeat it again. Just because you can does not mean you should. Exactly, Speak Queen. Thank you. So the bullet points of the lie that we've always been told about strength. Like I said, it could come from culture, family, church, and it's the pressure to always hold together. Don't be crying. Don't be asking for help. That's the lie that they sold us. Like I told you, emotional suppression is not true strength, because that's what that is. And true strength is letting other people in on your burdens. And just like Jesus had to have people help him carry his cross. He couldn't do it on his own. So it's the same thing with you. You have to have other people that can help you carry your cross. All of us have a cross, and you're going to have other people to help you carry it. You can't do it by yourself. You can't get through life by yourself. You can't get to the next level by yourself. You're going to need people. So you're going to have to learn how to open your mouth and verbalize things, even if it makes you uncomfortable. Like I said, just make sure you got the right support system around you. That way you won't feel, I guess, burdened or feel guilty or, what's the word? I don't know the word, but I know, like me, I used to be like, nah, I don't want nobody in my business. So, like, if you struggle with stuff like that, I would just say, like, you have to speak up. Because having it all together is not, it's not the flex. It's not okay. And you're not going to always have it together. We are humans at the end of the day. Life be lifing. It be a ton of things going on. You're not going to always have it together. So it's best for you to just get comfortable with not always having it together. Because at the end of the day, like I said, you are a human. You are going to go through something. So number 5 would be how to begin healing when you're tired of being the strong one. Like I always tell you guys, give yourself permission to feel. Because to heal is to feel. Stop waiting for your pain to be small enough before you acknowledge it. You can cry. You can take a break. You can have a day where you don't do nothing but rest. Stop feeling guilty. That's the only way you're going to heal. The second step is, like I just mentioned, you got to ask for help when you're strong one. Even if it's in small ways, ask for help. Shoot. I mean, if you got to tell somebody, ask somebody, can they check on you this week? Can they give you a call? Say that. And then the third step, I did mention this a little bit, you have to set boundaries. When you're the strong one, you got to set boundaries. People will use and use and use you and use you and use you if you don't never open your mouth. That means saying no when you don't have the capacity. Again, you cannot pour from an empty cup. This is what leads to emotional burnout. You are constantly pouring and pouring and pouring. You don't even have nothing in the cup to give yourself. So how are you giving it to other people? You got to learn how to say no. If you don't have the capacity, say no. And another thing, you don't have to explain why you said no. Just say no. And don't feel guilty about it. Another step on how you can begin healing when you're tired, when I said this too, find safe spaces to be vulnerable. That is very important. Very important when it comes to healing in general and just being a strong one. You have to have a safe place to land. If you don't have a safe place to land, it's going to make you feel like you can't open up and that you can't say the things that you need to say to get your healing or to get somebody to help you. You have to have a safe place. Places where you can talk without being judged, shamed, or told to just get over it. And definitely, you need to have a safe place where if you're struggling with something that is personal, you trust that person enough not to be going out and telling your business, right? Healing starts when you stop pretending that you okay and you start letting people in. A lot of strong people struggle with that. I used to struggle with that. I'll be thinking I'm okay, pretending that I'm okay, and really deep down inside, I'm not okay. But like I said, a lot of people wouldn't know that because I don't open my mouth a lot of times. I just kind of get through it. Now, when I do start opening my mouth, that means I'm taking initiative to let my loved ones know that, hey, I need you. And I don't feel bad about it now. But in the beginning, I used to feel bad. So I used to just kind of go through life just emotionally burnt out because I wouldn't open my mouth. But I'm here to tell you, you got to start opening your mouth. So like I said, allow your emotions without shame, without guilt. Take small steps in seeking help if you are struggling or you don't know where to start. Start small. Always start small. Say no without guilt. If you can't do it, just say you can't do it. In safe places. Seek non-judgmental help. So the last point will be what healing looks like in this area. When you start healing, you stop running yourself into the ground for everyone else. You stop jumping to fix everybody else's problems. You realize that your value does not come from what you do for other people, but from who you are in God's eyes. And you allow yourself to rest without guilt. A lot of people, especially strong people, you don't rest. You feel like if you take a break or if you have a non-productive day, that it's a bad thing. I'm here to tell you, You have to get over that. You cannot be running 100 miles per hour. And then when you're so used to running 100 miles per hour, you get in this headspace to where you think that that is okay and that is normal. So that's why you start to feel guilty when you do want to take a break or you want to rest, and then you do it, and then you get up and you don't allow yourself to rest because you have already trained your mind that you have to be on 100 miles per hour. And you're, to be honest with you, you're not supposed to be functioning like that. So you have to allow yourself to rest without guilt. Like I was talking about earlier about pouring from an empty cup, let people pour into you. Let people pour into you without you feeling like you have to pay them back or that you have to give them something. Just let people reciprocate it. And one day you'll realize that being strong no longer means carrying everything. It just means knowing when to put something down. That's a good one. You have to learn how to put it down. You got to learn how to put the weight down. Let somebody else help you carry it. I talked about this earlier. You can't go through life without having somebody help you in some type of way. So when it comes to whatever you got going on, learn how to put it down. And learn how to let people pour into you. Don't constantly overfunction. I spoke on that 1,000 times, and I'm going to keep saying it. Stop running at 100 miles per hour when you're supposed to be running at 20. Because it's going to cost you. I don't know if I'm going to correlate it to this, but it's kind of like being in hustle culture. When you on hustle culture, you run at 100 miles per hour. Being a strong one can kind of be like you're in hustle culture in a sense because you're running that race when you should be running at another pace. You got to learn how to pace yourself when it comes to being a strong one. Like I said, value comes from identity, not the things that you do for other people. Rest without guilt, accept care without repayment, and strength equals knowing when to release the load. So, let me see. I do got journal questions, I think. Let me see. I don't think I wrote down none. Oh, I don't think I wrote down no journal questions this time. Yeah, I did. But there are some questions that you can ask yourself. You can ask yourself, like, why do you feel like you always got to run to the rescue of other people? That could be a question that will give you, like, some reflection that could help you maneuver through that. Another one would be, why do you feel guilt on speaking up? Like, why do you feel guilty on asking people for help or letting people in? That would be another good question that you could ask yourself. You can ask yourself, like, how would it look if I just said no? Or if I just told somebody that I don't have the capacity? How would that look for you? How would that help you get through the things that you're going through if you just simply told them that you don't have the capacity or that you can't do it? That's a question. Let's see. Another question would be like, how would you feel or what would it look like to you if you could rest without feeling guilty? That is a good question you could write down and ask yourself. How would that look? You resting without feeling guilty. You resting and not feeling like you got to do something. You resting and just resting. Just resting. Like I said, at the end of the day, when it comes to healing, you are a human. At the end of the day, you are a human. You're not supposed to be operating like no robot. You're not supposed to be running at 1,000 miles per hour. You're supposed to just be. And to heal is to feel. You got to allow yourself to feel the emotions. So, if you one of the strong ones and you struggle with always being that friend or being that person, I'm here to tell you, it ain't nothing wrong with being that person, but you got to have some boundaries. You got to have some boundaries and you got to ask for help. Because I'm that person. I'm always be the strong one. That ain't going to never go nowhere. But being strong is exhausting. And I think I have a video on my TikTok. I'm not sure if I posted it on the page, but I did make a video some weeks ago, and I said being strong is exhausting, and it's not the flex that people think it is. And like I said earlier in the live, like, it's not the flex that people think it is, because people don't even know, some people don't even know how to handle you because you are the strong one. They look at you a certain way. That's why they always come to you for advice, or they always run to you to do this or to do that. So it's just like, when you are the strong one, it's kind of like you don't have no place to land. So I used to think that being the strong one, like I said, was a flex in the way that I thought it was, until I started growing up, started healing, and I realized, like, it's cool that I got those strengths and those character traits, but I don't want that to be my whole identity, where people don't check on me and then people don't know how to handle me. So that's why I said all that to say being strong is exhausting. And like I said, it's cool. It's cool to have the traits. It's cool. It's cool to be strong, because some people just don't have the capacity to be strong. That's just not who they are. So I mean, we have to have strong people, but as in it being your identity and you can't ask for help and all of these other things, that's not the wave. That's not cool. So this was a short live tonight. I usually go about an hour. This one was 30 minutes. Next week's topic, let me see. Let me see. Next week's topic is when you don't feel whole. It's basically saying, like, God, I don't feel whole, now what? So I'll be talking about that next week. That's basically like healing through your faith. Because a lot of people aren't whole. They are broken. And you have to be broken down first before you can be whole. But I ain't going to get all into that because that's next week's topic. But that's what I will be talking about next week while I am on the live. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., the prayer book will launch. The $19.99 is for the first 25 people, and it's an ebook, meaning no shipping required. It's going to come straight to your phone. If you want the physical copy, it's not going to be $19.99. It's going to be regular price, and you'll have to wait on the shipping. So if you want the book right away, you want to start reading these prayers, start transforming your prayer life, aligning with who God has called you to be, getting the breakthrough, and just having like a guide and a companion to help you maneuver through everyday battles, you can download the book tomorrow. Literally be on your phone. But it's for the first 25 people. After that, it will go to regular price. And in 2 weeks, I will be dropping the journals again. And I might have an early bird special on that. So tomorrow, be on the lookout for the prayer books. I hope you one of the first 25 people to get it, because it's a book worth of value. I wrote that book completely over. And like I said in my videos, if you was watching them on my page, I released that book last year, but I just wasn't the person that I needed to be, and I didn't know how to handle something so personal and valuable. Because it's not about money, it's about the transformation that's going to take place. So, again, the book is back and it's better. And if you want it for $19.99, you can send me a DM, say prayer or breakthrough. I will send you the link so you can sign up. Because once those spots are gone, that's it. That book will not go back on sale. It probably won't go back on sale no time soon. So, if you want the breakthrough, if you want the healing, like I was always taught, you got to get in the room. You got to put yourself in alignment to get the thing, get the breakthrough, get the healing, get whatever you looking for. You got to show up. You got to put yourself in a room. So, hopefully, whoever is watching, you are on the wait list, and you have reserved your spot. So, I am going to get off of here. If don't nobody have anything to say, then I'm going to end the live. Okay, I guess nobody has nothing to say. Well, I will see you guys next week for part 5. Talk to y'all later. Bye.